Welcome back. What a cool video. Again, my name is Shawn Barklow. I'm a Star 4 certified silver coach with Promptings. And I found this company, or this company found me many, many years ago. I was in the mortgage business, and I saw a way for me to stay in top of mind and stay in front of my clients. And I did that for several years with it. And then I started sending individual cards and acting on my promptings, even though I didn't know that's what I was doing. And then I heard a great story from our founder, Cody Bateman, and it turned my life around. But he is the one to tell it. So, Cody, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cody Bateman. I'm the founder of the Promptings movement. Appreciate you being with us tonight. I want to share with you a couple of stories. One is how this whole thing started in the first place and what our mission is and what we plan to do to change this world of ours by helping millions of people act on their promptings. We hope that you're one of them. So it all started back in 1989. I accepted a job offer. I just graduated from college and accepted a job offer to work for an ad agency in New York City. So when we accepted that job, we packed up all of our belongings. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl. We packed up all of our belongings, put it in a U-Haul truck. We were driving this little car of ours in front of the U-Haul truck. And we went over to my mom and dad's house to say bye to the family. So we said our goodbyes. And I remember coming out in the front of my parents' home, and we got into the car and we put little baby Whitney in her car seat, and Jody got into the passenger side, and I went to get into the car. And as I went to get in, I looked over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was moving some vehicles around in this lot. And at that moment, I had what I call a prompting, an intuitive thought that I needed to stop what I was doing, go over to my brother, give him a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. And we were in a hurry. There were people waiting for us. There was another couple that was moving with us that was driving the U-Haul truck. And we all needed to leave. And so what do you think happened? I ignored the prompting. I remember getting in the car and driving away, and I honked and waved at my brother as we drove off, and he waved back at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. And we drove away, and we drove all the way across the country, moved into our new home in New York City area. And a couple of months went by and everything was going well until one night I got a phone call about 2:00 in the morning. And my mother was on the other end of that line, and she tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. Now, that was devastating news. In fact, I remember when I got that news, the first thing I thought of is that I had this prompting that I needed to say bye to him, and I ignored it. So at that very moment, I made a promise to my brother Chris, to myself and to my brother Chris. I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, brother, that I ignored that prompting. And I promise you that when I have promptings to reach out in kindness to others, I will act. And I'll do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. That was in 1989. Excuse me. That's when this whole thing started. That was the dream that was put into my mind at that moment. And everything I did from that day forward was to figure out how to deliver the promise. I needed to act on my promptings. I needed to help other people act on their promptings. Now, keep in mind, this is a long time ago. This is in 1989. It was even pre-internet days. We didn't even have the internet back then. So the concept and idea that I had was I had to find a way to help people act on their promptings. And I knew that for myself, the way for me to express myself, my appreciation, my kindness to others, it was a lot easier for me to write those things. Like if I wrote somebody a message in a card, it was a lot easier for me to express myself in a card than it was verbally. So I figured early on that whatever I did, it was going to have something to do with greeting cards, because a greeting card was a simple way for me to act on a prompting. If I had a prompting to say thank you to somebody, I could quickly send them a card with the words of kindness in them. So I started doing all kinds of things pre-internet days to try to figure out how to do that. You can't even imagine the things that we tried to do, but this thing called the internet came along. And when the internet came along and I saw the possibilities of the internet, the light bulb went on. Man, there was a way that you could send a real greeting card over the internet. So if I could call up the internet and pick a card and type in a message and click it, and somehow it went over the internet to a printer and the printer would print it and send it for me, man, that would be cool. So we went on a long journey to try to figure out how to do that. We actually pioneered the technology that calls for through the internet for variable print on demand on printers. Nobody had done that before us. And we did that back in 2001 and 2001 and 2. So we finally had created what I call a mechanism. We created a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. And what it was is the mechanism allowed me as a person to go onto the internet, onto the mechanism, and choose a greeting card and be able to type a message into the greeting card and then put in an address for that person and push the send button. And then over the internet, it would go to our printers. We would stuff it, stamp it, and mail it out for you. And we started doing this way back in 2002.
Right, so what's
was when
the breed
we
of
first
that
started
one
doing
dog?
this over the internet. Nobody had done it before. So it was a powerful mechanism. In fact, once we had the mechanism to do this, I wanted to start changing my habits and other people's habits. The habit I wanted to create was I sent cards to people every single day. So one of the habits that I had was is that the first person I thought of, I would send a card to. And I'm going to share a story about this card right here. So I got up one morning and my habit was first person that comes to mind. The first person that came to mind that day was a lady by the name of Pat Chase. She does the music at the church I went to. So I went to my mechanism that we had created. We had about, I don't know, maybe 100 saved greeting cards in there. And this was one of them. And it says beauty on the front. So I picked this card. It says beauty on the front. And inside it said things are beautiful if you love them. So I want you to watch the words that I wrote in this card to Pat Chase, who does the music at the church. So right from my computer over the internet, I typed these words. I said, Pat, just a quick note to let you know I appreciate what you do for us at the church. You make music beautiful, and I'm a better person for it. Your friend, Cody. That's simple. And I clicked the send button and sent it off to her. Now, I want to explain to you what happened when she received the card. A couple of weeks went by and I show up at church and she comes up to me and says, Cody, first of all, I want to thank you for this card you sent me. And I want to tell you what happened the day I received it. She says, I got up in the morning and I went into the front room of my house. I was going to pick up the receiver of the telephone, my intent was to call the leader of the church to let him know that I was no longer going to do the music of the church. She said, I don't remember a time when somebody thanked me for the service I provided. The only thing I got were complaints as to why I didn't play this music or that music. She says, and I was really frustrated. And so I was about to quit. She said, but something told me to go get the mail first. Now we know that that's called a prompting. She was prompted to go get the mail first. So she did. She hung up the receiver of the phone, did not make the phone call. She went out to her mailbox. The only piece of mail on a Thursday morning was this card. She opened up the envelope from her mailbox, read this card that you're looking at. She says, I want you to know that I was at my mailbox and I openly wept, she said. And I want you to know that when I went back in the house, I did not place the phone call. And I'm not going to place the phone call. I will keep doing the music of the church, and I will never, ever, ever forget you for how you made me feel with that card. Thank you very much. That's the power of acting on promptings.
So that's the story I heard. And think of everyone in the world, one card a day to somebody, and just to say how you really feel, how they make you feel, and what an impact we could have. And that really truly is the power of a prompting. So I'm going to share the Promptings webpage real quick. Again, acting on your promptings, and we have inner promptings, outer promptings, but our goal here is to appreciate others and attract prosperity. And that's when I saw that video, Cody, 15 years ago, that's what kind of transitioned into me to go, I want to do promptings full time, and it will be my prosperity. So promptings, what are they? They're intuitive thoughts that call on you to take a positive action. And that's reaching out in kindness, saying things you should say to people that you don't. And Cody alluded to it. Us guys have a little difficulty with that. So it's easy to put it in a card and hit send. It's maybe a craving that you have, and I need to fulfill my body. I need to fulfill my mind. So we get all kinds of promptings every single day. Promptings will create genuine human connection. I found this so true over the last 15 years, and it will guide you in your personal genius. So that's what a prompting is. And we have two, like I said, we have two experts on here today. I want to bring Jackie on first. So Jackie, would you share your screen and come on aboard? Welcome, Jackie. Great to have you here. So tell us some card stories and tell us how you acted on your promptings.
Okay, I'd love to. So I live in Southeast Idaho, and I have been a realtor for 17 years. And about 7 years ago, I found out about send out cards, and I used that in my business. And I would just basically send out holiday cards and birthday cards because I didn't really understand the full vision at first. But then as I listened to more seminars and listened to Cody, and I've always believed in following the promptings, I started to follow my clients' friends and family on Facebook. Well, I was following them already, but I started to watch what was happening. So this is one of my clients that I sold a home to, and she's holding a brand new little puppy. But on the back of the card, which you can't see, is the one she had before this. Now, she would walk around her new subdivision where she bought a home, and she would walk this little dog. And one day, a pit bull came running out while her little dog was on the leash and literally ate it in front of her. It was horrible. She was so distressed. And I tried to help her find a breeder, and she did eventually find one, but I made her this card, and it touched her so much. So little things like that are just one-to-one promptings that you can get. I have, because people love their pets, I have another one. Now, this guy, I don't know him at all, but I live in a little town, and he lives in my town. So it wasn't that hard to find his address, but this dog that he loved got run over by a truck, and the truck didn't even stop. And he shared it on Facebook about his heartbreak. So I sent him a card, and his wife and mother-in-law just told me how much he appreciated that. The last two cards are more like I said, I would send the holiday cards rather than one-to-one. I would send them to all of my past clients and customers. So this was my Easter card, and it just said, about having a lovely spring and a good Easter. And the last card is my Christmas one. And it's so fun to design these cards. You can change the font and colors. You can bring in your own pictures, or you can pick one from the catalog. There's tons in there. And I have just learned that following promptings, which is something I've always believed on, when you start to do it, you just get more and more of them. And I am really excited to share this. I've mostly used it as a customer, but now I'm sharing it with other people. And I love that because it makes everyone's lives better. And I don't have to carry inventory or sell lotions and potions. I just share the kindness, and they get to do it.
Thanks, Jackie. Those first two cards are very touching, and I know those people probably still have those cards somewhere in their house, and they cherish those. So thank you, Jackie, for those great stories and your prompting stories. So up next, we have Kathy. So Jackie, if you would stop your video, and Kathy's jumping on. Kathy Bester, I know you have some great card stories, so take it away.
Thanks so much, Shawn. I am so thrilled to be here tonight and to share some additional information. Every Wednesday we do these calls and we learn so much. I'm going to share 3 cards with you tonight, and you'll see that there's very few words. Pictures say it all. So this is a good friend of mine, and her daughter moved across to the other side of the country. I'm in Canada, so she's on the East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast. And she was missing her daughter, and she decided to go visit her, and she took a bunch of pictures. And I thought, she was teary-eyed and was missing her daughter. She now has this card and memories. We are really good at taking photos in our phones, but we're not really good at printing them out and having them on display. So she now has these memories of visiting her daughter and having an amazing trip in Europe with her, and spending some time in Toronto. So this is a really special card. So the next card, this is a very meaningful card. This is original artwork. These are not, our system has thousands of pre-made cards, but this is a homemade one that I made using the artwork of a good friend of mine. She's a teacher and she was forced to retire early because she has chronic migraines almost every single day of her life. So she was no longer able to teach elementary school. And she found some art therapy, and this is her artwork. And she posted it on Facebook, and I just fell in love with it. They're just so beautiful. There's another one on the back of the card as well. She's got this permanently on display at home, and she can carry it around with her. And when she contacted me, she was just in tears, just with the thought that someone was recognizing her beautiful art therapy as she navigates through this really tough time that she is going through. So you'll notice that I don't use a lot of words. I don't think words, sometimes emotions are much more impactful than words. And sometimes they bog us down. This third card is actually, I'm a high school music teacher. And I have almost 300 students, and I love every single one of them as if they were my own child. And it dawned on me that, hey, we went to this festival and we competed and we got golds and silver awards. They were spectacular performances. I was so proud with them. I was beaming with joy. And I thought, they don't get to take these plaques home. They get stuck in a display case at school forever. They get nothing in their hot little hand. So I sent every single student, I think there was 100 and, no, not that many. It was one bus load of kids, however many that is, 57 kids, I guess. And sent 57 cards to each of the kids that performed. And what you don't see is the back of the card. There was an 880-piece band that performed. So the back of the card is a picture of their experience playing in that 800-piece band, which is a life experience that they'll never, ever forget. And now they have something that they can hang on to. So those are my 3 cards. I do lots and lots of different varieties, and it's all about the promptings. And Jackie shared some techniques that I use all the time as well. So I love it. And thank you for this great opportunity, Shawn. This is awesome.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Those were great stories. I love the picture cards because you know what? I said I've been doing this 15, 17 years, but it hit me like a year ago. Like, if you send a card with their picture, it's their story they're telling themselves. So that picture of that mom with I'm sure she has a story of, this is when we were standing here. I remember that day. So that beautiful, just beautiful. So, and I love the cards to the students so they can share with that success. So that's awesome. Kathy, thank you very much. Have a great night. I'm going to share the promptings page one more time, just cover a few more things and we're done. As I get this, I would recommend whoever invited you here, please get back to them and ask them if you haven't taken the 10-card challenge, please do. That's kind of our starter. That gives you a great idea on how to act on your promptings. We do that, again, we act on our promptings by using the mechanism send out cards. Several ways we can do it. Again, I mentioned there's the 10-card challenge. It's $20. You get 10 cards. Stamps are included. You don't even have to go find stamps. You don't have to pay for those extra. And it really, what we talk about is impact 10 people that you care about. That's really what this is about. And you'll start to get the promptings idea. We all get promptings every day, but when you act on them continuously, you're going to get more and you're going to get bigger promptings. We also have 2 subscriptions to help you act on the promptings every month. And then we have a promptings process package, which kind of includes everything. It comes with our unlimited plan. It comes with a 100 card system or 100 system cards. It also comes with a virtual assistant that can help you create some cards or help you with your contacts. It comes with some coaching. So it's the full package on that. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't say, we also have an affiliate program. As you heard Jackie say, she kind of is a customer, but she's now into sharing send out cards. The way we do this is just ask people to take the 10 card challenge with us. And then they kind of, will tell us where they want to go from there. So that's it for the night. I hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, again, get back with the person that invited you. They'd be happy to answer your questions. And let me be the first to say, welcome aboard. We would love to have you. And our goal is to help millions of people act on their promptings. So remember, if you're acting on a prompting, it's never just a card. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.